guys, what's up? Welcome back to another Planty video. My name is Shannon and this is Planted 386. If this is your first time, hello, hi, welcome. This is just a small little community here and I am so proud of it. We love chatting with each other down below in the comments. So if you're new, let me know where you're from and let me know what your favorite plant is this month. I also hope you will consider subscribing and sticking around because I upload weekly and I love getting to know my community over here on YouTube. You can also find me on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, all under Planted 386. Though I will say I most frequently upload on TikTok. But yeah, if you love planty content just like I do and you can't get enough of it, I hope you will consider following me over there as well. If you are returning, thank you guys so much for being here week after week. Let me know how you're doing. Tell me what's been up. We've been in the middle of the houseplant tour, so it's been a lot of talk and a little, like, not as many comments. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's I don't know. I don't know what that's about. So let me know how you guys have been doing. This week's shout out is going to go to Cruel Sister 1. Thank you so much for all of your support to the channel. I appreciate you. I appreciate chatting with you every single video. So I just wanted to thank you so much for being here. Like I said, guys, we've been in the middle of a houseplant tour. We have 2 episodes up already. In case you missed them, I will link them down below. And we have 2 more to go. So the remaining 2 are all of the outdoors plants. We still have the pergola, like patio area to get through. And then we also have the garden, which I'm so proud of this year, and what I consider the orchard on the property to get through as well. So stay tuned for that. Like I said, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. Also, if you don't select all, it won't notify you for every video, only certain videos. It's a YouTube thing, but I just thought I would mention it in case you are unaware of that. Today, though, we are going to do a favorites video, guys, because I miss them. I miss just kind of like sitting here and talking to you guys about my favorite plants. And so I am a little bit behind, but I have some really good ones. I think 14 or 15 to share with you, plus a couple new additions. So without further ado, let's get into the plants. Also, quickly, I wanted to mention, because I've had a couple comments about sitting behind the couch. Yes, this is the couch. This is the planty corner. So if you're new here, we refer to it as the planty corner. This is my dedicated space for my plants, which you will see a little bit better in the houseplant tour in episode 1 if you're curious. But yeah, I have just like a little poof, and this is reality. Like, sometimes I do just come over here and sit and chill with my plants. It may not be everyone's cup of tea, but it's my cup of tea. And so I just wanted to kind of address that, because I've had a few comments on that, like, oh, what are you, like, creeping behind your couch? And it's like, no, I'm actually sitting on a little poof behind my couch, just like vibing with my plants. So that's what we do here. Okay, let's get into the plants. Okay, so the first one that I have to share with you guys today is this guy right here. So this is Senecio Mini Mammoth, and this is one that I picked up from, I think, Home Depot. It was a big box store regardless, and I don't know when I got it, but I got it when I picked up those Hoyas that I've shown a couple times here on the channel. Anyways, when I picked this thing up, you guys, it was in a tiny little pot. We're talking like maybe a 3-inch pot. And I honestly knew nothing about this plant. I just really liked the color specifically because it's sort of like this dusty, it's like Dusty Miller kind of, like, it's got the little hairs, it's really soft to the touch, and I just thought it was very interesting. And at the time, it was maybe this tall, and it was growing just straight up in the pot. And like I said, I didn't know anything about it. I just thought that it was interesting and different. So I decided to pick it up. I think it was only like $4 or $5, and this has turned out to be one of my favorite little plants. I enjoy this guy so much. He lives in the succulent window on the other side of the couch, and he seems to really love that spot. I cannot get over how humongous this guy has gotten. I put it in terracotta because I assumed that this is like in the cacti or like succulent family, and I just assumed that it would do all right in terracotta, and I guess I guessed right because it seems to really enjoy kind of like drying out in between watering, and though I will say it tends to be thirstier than what I thought initially. I notice when I water it, it does, just like Dusty Miller, when you water Dusty Miller, the water, when it touches the like plant, it will turn it fully green. So this does the same thing, but I'm just really loving how this is sort of like growing over the pot. And if I'm being honest, I kind of would like to see this, I don't know, like maybe in a hanging situation possibly, or just up higher to where it can potentially drape down. I thought that this was just going to grow upright. I had no idea that it could potentially be like a trailing situation. Anyways, I have just been really, really loving this guy, and what I thought was just going to be something to sort of experiment with and whatever happened has turned into like something that I really, really enjoy looking at. I just love the way that it is growing specifically. I think that's what's really drawing me to it. And anyways, I just wanted to share this with you. If you guys see this at your local big box or whatever, it's a really interesting plant. I still don't know much about it other than it just grows like a weed, and I just think it's really beautiful, to be honest. I think it is quite a beautiful, interesting plant that does draw the eye, and I don't know, I've really been enjoying it. And I really like the color of this plant up against this terracotta. I can't wait for this pot to patina a little bit more because I think it'll be even more beautiful like once it patinas a bit, but yeah. That is the first one. I have all of them sort of, not all of them, but most of them sort of gathered around me, so it's going to be a pretty easy pickup. The next one I have is a newer one to my stash. I've had this maybe a month now, but I have really, really enjoyed having this guy around. This is a Stapelia. And this is specifically Stapelia gigantea. And when I picked this up, I got this from Blue Moon at their open house back in June. So yeah, almost exactly a month ago. And when I bought it at the time, it had the most interesting, weird, cool, like flower I have ever seen, you guys. Like it, I mean, cactuses, cacti, you know, they bloom so cool. Like I don't know what it is about a cactus flower. For me, I just love it so much. I need to repot it. It's definitely like, I just put it in this cool little pot, like drip pot, because this guy is so thirsty. And I know it's because it's in this teeny tiny pot, definitely needs a repot. So that's something that I'm gonna work on soon. I'm just kind of trying to decide what pot I wanna put it in. But what I love even more, like the flowers are cool, but let's be honest, it's only gonna flower every once in a while or every so often. If you have any tips on getting these to flower more regularly, let me know, because I would be curious to know that. But even cooler than the flowers is the fact that this guy is not spiky at all. It doesn't have any sharp spines or anything like that. And actually, it's velvety soft to the touch. It's super soft. It's super cool. And I love the structure of it. I think I will be putting this into like a larger terracotta, something that's going to not dry out super quickly, but not hang on to water like a nursery pot would. So anyways, guys, I wanted to share this one with you because it's just remarkable. I know it's going to get absolutely massive as well, so I'm trying to be mindful of that when deciding the size pot to put it in. I just feel like once I pot this up, it's going to take no time and it's going to grow like crazy. I could be wrong, but that's just the feeling that I get. Anyways, I know it's not much to look at right now, but if you go to my TikTok, I do have a photo of the flower, like a reel of the flower that it put out. So cool. it's like a hairy flower that looks like it's from another planet. It is really, truly an experience, and I can't wait for this to bloom again. I'm just really excited to have it. And yeah, so that's plant number 2. Okay guys, next up, this may be the month of favorites where we do a lot of newbies, but that's just kind of how it is, I guess, this month. I don't know. I don't typically like to do favorite or new plants in my favorites videos because I like to get to know the plant before I decide if it's a favorite or not, but a lot of these are kind of like wish list plants. So this is one of them. This is Hoya undulata. And this was a Hoya that was on my wish list plant video that I did back in either December or January when we talked about, you know, our wish list plants and what we wanted to add to our collections this year. And in that video, I said this year I wanted to be more mindful of the plants that I'm bringing in and really keep it to plants that I actually really crave and want. And this is one that I have been craving since that video. So it's been several months now, and this was actually gifted to me from Haley from Blue Moon. She picked it up at one of the plant expos that she went to from just a seller there. I'm not sure who. What I find so interesting about this Hoya is how paper thin the leaves are. I thought that they would be more thick and succulent, but they're actually quite thin. What really drives it home for me, not only is it sort of like prehistoric looking, but I love these crinkly edges. I just think it is so interesting, so cool. I am a little nervous because this one didn't seem like it was very well rooted. So I'm hoping that all things considered it goes well for me and this roots and decides to grow. I am a little bit nervous about it because these are pretty spendy still, and I'm just hoping that I can keep it alive. Sometimes, in my experience with Hoya, it can either go really well or it can go really, really sad. So I'm just hoping this goes really well and not really sad because it's one that I've wanted for a while. So far, I've been keeping it in my Milsbo Tall. I put it in this no drainage sort of situation because it seems like it would be a thirsty one. Although, like I said, I'm not really sure. I just am so excited to have it, and I'm just fingers crossed this goes well for me and I can get something really good out of it. So yeah, that is number 3. Number 4, another new one, guys. If you've been around for a little bit, I have been, you know, I've been into Scindapsus recently. And I think it's because I didn't realize just how many Scindapsus there are out there, but there are so many varieties of Scindapsus, and some of them are so breathtakingly beautiful. In my experience, I've had pretty good luck growing Scindapsus, so I'm kind of excited to get into this world a little bit more and see, you know, how many varieties I can get going. Anyways, this is Scindapsus Pea-Sun. And see if I can get you a decent little shot. I'll try to have B-roll of all of these for you as well. But it's just a tiny little baby cutting that she gave me. And by she, I mean Haley. If it's a gift, it came from Haley from Blue Moon. I will have their information down below. Also, just a quick side note, we do go live on Palm Street every single Wednesday. So if you're curious to see what the shop has, you know, to offer, check us out over on Palm Street. We go live every Wednesday at noon Eastern Standard, and I'm the one selling the plants. So we can hang out over there too. If you do go over to Palm Street, let me know during the live that you're from my channel. I'd be so curious to know. But anyways, what I love about this one is just that marbled, beautiful variegation. And these seem to be pretty stable in terms of variegation. So I'm just excited to grow this out, see where it goes. I do plan on getting a nice vine going and then chopping and propping and filling out a pot. That's my plan for this, and I am just stoked to have it. I think it is so beautiful. I know she's just a baby right now, but yeah, I'm stoked. She's not actually in this terracotta pot. She's in the nursery pot that it was given to me in because I didn't know like how rooted it was. But she's been growing really, really well in the time that I've had her. I've just been keeping her in the Mills Bow Tall. And so far, she's given me this leaf here, and looks like she has one coming in. So far, so good. She seems to be pretty happy. I just try to keep her, you know, wet. Don't let her dry out too much. And yeah, so far, so good. Next up is one that I've had for a little while now. This is a Hoya. This is Hoya AH074, which I knew nothing about, if I'm being honest. I had no unearthly idea about this Hoya. I actually got it at one of the plant swaps that I host from a fellow local grower, and she specializes in Hoyas, and she had this one up for grabs, and so I decided to take it because I thought it was really, really interesting. I really liked the color, like the splashes of silver. I do love a good splashy silver Hoya. I am a sucker for those. I would say of all the Hoyas, those are my favorites. The ones that sort of have silver within the leaves. And I don't know, it seems to be really happy and kind of growing like a weed, if I'm being honest. What I find interesting is the leaf shape and how large these leaves are compared to the leaves that it came home with. So I don't know, seems to really like the spot that it's in. And yeah, I would say all of this from here up is new growth, which is quite a bit in the time that I've had it. So like I said, it seems to really like the spot that it's in, and I just think it's really beautiful. Like, look at this leaf, you guys. Like, isn't that beautiful? What an interesting Hoya. I don't have it on a trellis or anything, and I've thought maybe perhaps it would like one, but I'm not a huge fan of trellising plants, and I'm not a huge fan of moss poles. If you've been around, you know that. I prefer to grow my plants sort of just like organically, let them do whatever they want to do. But this one does seem to be like wanting to climb. So yeah, I may put this one on a trellis for those reasons. Because she's just kind of like flopping around everywhere. Plus her leaves are so heavy, I feel like it would do her some good. I don't know. Okay, next is an Anthurium, and it is an Anthurium clarinervium hybrid. So one thing about me is I love a good clarinervium, and I love a good clarinervium hybrid. Probably in terms of like the heart-shaped leaf, you know, in terms of that style of Anthurium, I would say clarinervium's probably my favorite, just because I find the hybrids to be so interesting. So this is Anthurium clarinervium cross Bintang Kajori, which is not one. She is wet. Let me put her back in her pot. This is one that I got off of the Green Escape, and I bought it solely off of the photo that they showed of what this looked like mature. And so I'm really hoping that it winds up looking that way, because let me tell you guys, that photo was 10 out of 10. It looked so cool. It gave me like Nigrolaminum Gigi vibes in the way that the leaf was super elongated, but it had like overlapping lobes. It really didn't look much at all like a clarinervium, just something totally different that I had never seen before. So anyways, I wanted to share her with you this month because she's finally getting to a place where I feel like we're on the up and up. This one, it was interesting in the sense that when I got it, it was like a tiny plug. If you've ordered from the Green Escape, you know, like they come super tiny little plugs, and I actually had a hard time getting this one going, which isn't typically the case when it comes to Anthuriums. Usually I find them to be pretty easy, even if I get them as like a small seedling, but this one kind of gave me a run for my money. I also found that it likes to pup out, and I don't know if that's because this is tissue cultured, and perhaps that's why, but instead of growing like big mature leaves, it focused more on producing pups. And so since then I have separated it, and that's when I really started to see like exponential growth is when I separated it and I split up all the pups. Some of them made it, some of them didn't. I think I have a total of 3 or 4 of them, like in all. But I had even more than that. So that tells you how many pups this put out as just a tiny little seedling. That being said, this is the largest one, and this is the one I plan on keeping. I do already have one that's spoken for from or for Miss Eleanor. She is a viewer on here, and she also has an amazing Instagram account if you guys want to check her out. But anyways, its most recent leaf is pretty interesting in that it gave me this strange little shape here. So I'm very curious to see, you know, where this one goes. I'll keep you guys posted. I love how dark it is, and I love that red sinus that it's giving. Like I said, I will give you guys B-roll so that you can see it even better. It also has a new leaf coming, which is exciting. And so, yeah, I'm just excited to see where this one goes. And it's honestly been a joy to watch over the past month or so, because I feel like that's when it's really started to like come into its own. Next is another Hoya, and some of you may be bored by this because when I say this is a standard Hoya that you can find anywhere, probably the most common of all Hoyas, this is Hoya Crimson Queen. And so I get it, guys. Like, this is the most common Hoya. You can literally find this pretty much anywhere. Although I will say for me, I had a hard time getting my hands on a Crimson Queen, like not locally, you know? I mean, most people, I feel like they can find it in their big box stores or just kind of like everywhere. And for me, the Crimson Princess is everywhere, but not so much the Crimson Queen. And I finally got my hands on a cutting from our local plant swap, and I was so excited about it because I had been wanting one for a while. I do have a Crimson Princess. You guys will see that in the next houseplant tour video. And she's massive. She's absolutely huge, and she's beautiful, and I love her so much. But I had been really wanting the Queen. I just like the green and the white specifically on the Queen. The Crimson has some yellows in there, and it also puts out like a lot of pink, I find. So yeah, I wanted one of these, and I am very, very excited to finally have one. So I got this as a tiny little cutting, you guys, like teeny tiny little cutting, and I started propagating it pretty much right away. Like as soon as it gave me the first little bit of vine, I started to chop and prop, and I have since then filled out this terracotta pot, as you can see. But it's given me this super lovely tendril, and I can't get over how large these leaves are. They're beautiful, and I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm hoping to have a nice, huge, massive one. But for now, it is what it is. I'll probably let this vine grow out a little bit more. Typically, I like to let the vine stop vining, which I don't know if I like the vine to stop, like when it's in a active growth phase, I like to let it do its thing. And then I find Hoyas usually will stop at a certain point, and at that time I like to cut, chop, and that's when I'll chop and prop. But anyways, for now, this is where we are, and I just like that she's got like some leaves with a lot of white. She's got some leaves with very little white, and I just think that when I get look at this leaf. Look at that. I think when I get a nice full pot of this and it starts to really fill out and give me all of that variety, that's really when I'm going to fall in love with it. But right now, I'm loving where we are. I feel like it's grown like crazy, and I almost wish I had taken a photo of this when I first got it, because it's pretty shocking how big this has gotten in such a short time. And yeah, I don't think it's going to take me long to have that big, full, beautiful, overflowing pot. I love Hoyas so much, you guys. Like, I just can't get enough of them, honestly. I have a couple more to show you in this video, at least one more, and a couple more of anthuriums, of course. But okay, let's get into the next. Okay, next is another anthurium, and this was another Green Escape purchase. And this is Anthurium Dark Phoenix. So I had been wanting anthuriums like in their unhybridized, meaning like it's pure form, because I want to breed anthurium. And so Dark Phoenix was on my list. This was on my wish list in that wish list video. If I can remember, I'll try to link that down below so you can kind of see what I wanted at the top of the year and if I've gotten it or not. But anyways, Dark Phoenix was one of them because I definitely wanted to potentially breed with it one day. I love how dark the Dark Phoenix is, and I feel like it makes an excellent parent plant, specifically pollen plant. So this is its newest leaf, which is so exciting. I recently repotted it because it had thrown out a leaf here and it decided to abort it. So I felt like perhaps it was just too constricted in the pot that it was in, and it definitely was. So since doing that, it's already given me this beautiful new leaf. I'm loving how dark it is. It's starting to show those characteristics. It is going to be a little bit lighter considering it is in my Millsbo cabinet at the time and it's kind of under bright light. But I have a feeling that once this gets to the place where it's no longer in the cabinet setting and it's just growing in ambient lighting, it's going to get even darker. So that's exciting to me. And I just wanted to give you guys an update because this is another one that I got as a teeny tiny little plug seedling. And so anytime I get it to grow out in this, in this capacity, it's always very exciting. I do have some that were tiny plugs that are in maturity now, and it's just an awesome feeling to know that you've taken this tiny plug and you've grown it into a fully mature plant. I also, another tip, once it starts to look like that, where you can see the aerial roots sort of protruding, they're not buried in anything anymore, that is when I typically like to cover them with sphagnum moss. So I always leave a little bit of room in my pots for sphagnum. I could, in this case also, I could just top this with extra dirt. That's always an option as well. But I find that anytime I top those roots or exposed roots in sphagnum, I always see excellent results from doing that. And I find that my anthuriums tend to hold on to those leaves much better when I do that, because the moss sort of holds on to moisture, gives those roots something to grow into. And you'll find that your anthuriums not only continue to size up, but will not get brown and crispy bits like anthuriums can tend to do. So that is the next step. Before I even put this away, I will top it with moss, and that way the next time I go to water it, it will have that added layer of moss to sort of root into. The next anthurium that I have is this is going to come as no surprise, this is my variegated Vitarifolium. And I just can't get over it. We're finally getting to the point where we're draping over the pot. This is another one that I got as a tiny, tiny little baby. I do need to top her in moss, and I plan on doing that as well because you can see all of those exposed roots there. But I just find this variegation to be a 10 out of 10. I feel like this is such a good specimen, and I got so lucky. And it's just to the point now where it's, like I said, it's starting to drape over the pot, which is really exciting. It's been a long time coming. I've had her for quite a while now. I got her in 6 of 24. So we've exactly had her a year, and we're just now to the point where we're like starting to drape over the pot. So it took some time to get this from that tiny little 3-leafed, sprig to this place that we're in right now, and I'm just really proud of it. It's one that I always love looking at, and I check her out definitely on a weekly basis just to like see where we're at, see how she's doing. And so yeah, she also, what's interesting is she puts out leaves like crazy. Like, she's always giving me growth. What is this? Is that scale? No way. Oh no, my poor baby has scale. I will have to spray her down. That is so sucky. It's so interesting because I I have been having an issue with scale recently, and I don't know where it is coming from. But yeah, I'm gonna have to spray her down, and I always seem to find it when I'm doing a video, every single time. But I'll show you guys in the B-roll the scale so you can see, like, if you're not familiar with what it looks like. It's one of my least favorite pests, if I'm being honest. It's one that I hate seeing because unlike a mealybug, I don't know, it's just, I hate scale. It creeps me out. It really gives me the creeps. So anyway, that is such a bummer to discover. And I've been wondering why a couple of her leaves were yellowing. Anyways, going back into it, she grows like crazy. So it's interesting to see that we're just now kind of draping over the pot, where she's giving me leaves that are long enough rather than, I found that they stayed kind of short like this. They weren't like getting longer. It was like I would get many of them, but not like nice long ones. So interesting. My poor baby's under attack. We'll get that taken care of like immediately. I don't know where this scale is coming from, but I've had 2 or 3 plants this year come down with scale, and it is such a strange thing because I only typically find scale outside, so I don't know. Anyways, next up is my Hoya Wilburgraves. We have talked about this plant a million times on this channel, and that is because this was once a top wishlist Hoya for me. It still remains one of my most favorite Hoyas of all time. Again, it's silvery, it's splashy, and when the leaves harden off, what I really like is the dark green up against the silver. That's what I love, and this is exactly that. The reason this one's in here is because I have been working on chopping and propping my original Wilburgraves to get to a place where it's giving me like a pot of just beautiful silver green leaves. Because what I have found is you'll get vines that have lesser variegation and more just solid green, and you'll get vines that have a ton of variegation and less green. And what I wanted was just a pot of a ton of the silver. So that's what I've been working on, and I feel like we are really getting there. Like, we're really getting to this place that I'm gonna have an impeccable pot of Wilburgraves. I do have another one as well that's got some pretty good silver. You know, it was one that I was sort of curating before starting this one, and so my hope is to put the both of them together at a certain point. I'm just kind of letting this one grow out. It's in an active growth phase, as you can see, so once it stops tendriling, I will then chop this one up and then just get them rooted, and I'll just continue working on curating this beautiful big massive pot of super silver, like high quality Wilburgraves. So I did have a pot the pot that I had with the low variegation Wilburgraves, I actually sold that one at a plant swap. But at a time, I had 3 of these going because I just love them so much. It's like the more the merrier kind of thing. Although you only have so much space, right? So. Okay guys, next on my list is this guy right here. This is another new one to me anyways. This is Ardisia Coolfire. And this was not on my wish list from back in December, but that's because I didn't even know this existed. This is one that you're gonna laugh when you see it in this tiny little pot. This is one that I first saw at, I think perhaps on Instagram, and then Haley got some at Blue Moon. She got some in, but she only got a couple, and they sold pretty quickly. So from that point on, there was no more Ardisia Coolfire. Like, we couldn't find them, couldn't get our hands on them. And so recently they came back around, and she gifted me this one here, and I cannot tell you how excited I am to have this. I just think this is such a cool plant, you guys. If you've been around, you know I love texture. I love prehistoric looking plants, things that are kind of weird and wonky and different, and so does John. So I figured this is one that he would like too. And I also love to watch how these leaves come in. Like, they come in from the very center there, small, like an anthurium would, and then they expand over time. So I know nothing about this outside of it just is a super cool looking plant. I'm a little intimidated by it, if I'm being honest, because the leaves are on the thin side, but I feel like if I can keep anthurium alive, I should be able to keep this guy happy as well. So far, I've had him living under a grow light, and he seems to be doing all right. So, you know, so far so good. I do see a couple roots starting to come in down at the bottom. I feel like this guy's gonna be thirsty, so I think it's probably something I should repot soon. But then again, I don't really know how well rooted it is. So what I did is I just decided to put it in this large cashpo for now, and I try to keep water in this cashpo at all times so that it has access to a drink. If you guys know anything more about Ardisia, specifically the Cool Fire, let me know, like what your growth tips are, because I would be curious to know. Anyways, I'm just so excited to have this. I thought I would share it with you guys. It is so cool. I still have yet to tag it. And I know that she still has some left in the shop on Palm Street. So if you would like one also, go check it out. But yes, isn't it beautiful? Like, what a statement plant, you know? It's just so cool. This is going to definitely be the thumbnail of this video, which you will have already seen by now. Okay guys, next up on the list is yet again another Hoya. This is my Hoya Carrii intervariegated, and I cannot get over how lucky I am to have this. Just in the sense that I think it is such a beautiful specimen, and I started this, you guys, this was ironically supposed to be a cutting from my original mother plant that I was going to take to the plant swap and I was going to sell. What's funny is I ended up liking this one so much better than my mother plant. My mother plant's also growing in semi-hydro, and I'm kind of over the semi-hydro thing. I just prefer soil. It's just my preferred substrate. And so little by little, I've been converting all of my plants that I have in semi-hydro back to soil. So this ended up taking off so amazingly well, this couple cuttings. I think there's 2 cuttings in here, or 2 stems. Yeah, 2 stems. And I could not get over how well this took off. And not only did it take off, but these leaves are massive, you guys. They are huge. I love the shape of just the overall set, how it's growing. I just think this is so beautiful, how compact it is. It's throwing out a tendril finally, but it's stayed growing pretty compact. There's still leaves coming in here. I can't get over how good this is looking, and it's growing in my cabinet, my Milsbo Tall. It seems to love it there, and quite honestly, if it stays looking this good, I'm just gonna leave it in there because it's just so good, you guys. It's just so good. I cannot stop staring at it, and I wanted to share it with you guys. I did recently just share it in the houseplant tour, but I thought it deserved a moment because truly, I can't get over how fast it's growing at this point, and just how beautiful it is. It even looks like it was putting out a peduncle, but it looks like that peduncle dried up. I don't think it's going to come to fruition, but that just tells me that it's happy. It seems to, like I said, love the space that it's growing in, and I just think the variegation looks so beautiful. I also love how I have her in this sort of it's this tall pot thing with arms that I got from IKEA. I just think it looks really good in there, and I don't know, guys, I'm just stoked about it. I think it is so cool. And, you know, the heart Hoya is always like a fan favorite, but it's usually just, you know, the one heart in the pot. And so to see it like sort of big and as a full-on plant is just a really cool thing. So yeah, I just wanted to share her with you. I'm really excited about it. I think she's so cool. And that's pretty much that when it comes to that one. All right, guys, next on the list is my Hoya Polyneura. I love her. I'm so excited about her. I cannot begin to tell you guys how elated I am to have a Polyneura that looks like this. You have to understand, I got this Polyneura, my original Polyneura I got from Canopy Plant Co. probably 2 years ago. And I could never get it to grow for me. For whatever reason, that initial plant that got sent just never wanted to do anything for me. And to be honest, it was quite the struggle. So I ended up cutting that initial plant into a tiny million pieces, all right? I just took a bunch of cuttings. And I put them in moss, and I put them in my Milsbo tall, and I just let them do their thing. And it took forever, you guys, literally forever, to get them to root, to be happy, and to like start looking like anything. So what I ended up doing is, after those little cuttings were doing their thing, I put them in their own little pot and like of soil. So I took them out of moss and I put them into soil. And finally, they started giving me some growth. So I just continued to take cutting after cutting after cutting, get them rooted, get them going. And finally, you guys, we're here. We have a full like plant, a Polyneura plant. And what I ended up doing is I finally got brave and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take them out of the cabinet and I'm just going to see how this goes. So I put it in this Dollar Tree, like, you know those little globes from the Dollar Tree? I put them all in here, and so far they seem to be loving it. I just had this vision of it sort of like draping out of this. That's just in my head where we were gonna go with it. I did not think, to be honest with you, that it would come to fruition because I've had the worst luck with Polyneura, but look at us go. We are officially doing the thing. So I'm stoked about it. I have it living in this window over here. It seems to love it. And I just can't even believe it. I look at this and I think it is so beautiful. Some of you may look at this and be like, wow, that's so weak. Like when you see Wild Ferns Polyneura, like that is the goal, okay? So I know it's not much, but we're getting somewhere, and that's the point. We have a Polyneura, which was always a like dream plant of mine, to have a big, beautiful Polyneura. I think this is such a beautiful plant. And to have like one that's draping over a pot, a big healthy one, I thought I would never get there, and here we are. So I'm pretty excited about it. I know this is probably not going to be a forever scenario in this sort of situation, but I'm going to let it go as long as I can go. I also have this hole here where I can stick some more cuttings, so we'll do that when the time comes. And I think what I'm going to end up doing is getting a bigger one of these because I really love the way that this looks for some reason. And so, yeah, I think I plan on getting like a bigger one when the time comes, and I'll just continue to grow it like this because I don't know, it just does something for me, and I am so tickled that we're here. So I wanted to share her with you this month because she's been bringing me so much joy. All right, guys, we only have 2 left. I know this is an awkward angle, but you'll see why in a second. So the last 2 on my list for the month are my Strapyanthuriums, my Wendy, and my Pally. So we are gonna try to, I should have done this before clicking start. Oh, I see the problem. It's my, my Australis Lisa is literally tendriling. This thing has been going off. It's tendriling around my Wendy and up onto my Pally because they kind of sit close to each other. So give me a second while I findangle this. This has been going off like crazy. This Hoya is so freaking happy. I don't even know what to do with her. She won't stop growing so that I can like chop her up. She's growing in this, I don't even know if you can see it. Anyways, here is my Wendy, guys. Can you see her? Isn't she so pretty? I can't believe it. This is her newest leaf, which is so cool. I'm stoked, 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 stoked. I just can't believe it. Wendy was on my list for such a long time. I wanted this beautiful anthurium. The inflow is so cool. I would love to be able to breed with it someday. I know we're kind of far off from that, but either way, just being able to say that I have a Wendy and then I have one that's growing so well, it's just like a dream, honestly. And I love the way that she looks next to my Pally, and she did just give me this leaf this month, so I wanted to share that with you guys. It's going to be one of those things where it's going to get harder and harder to show her without just B-roll. So while we can still pick her up, we're going to do that. And yeah, I'm tickled. I'm tickled. I love Strappy Anthurium, you guys. I just can't get enough of them. I don't know what to say about it. It's an addiction. What can I say? All right, guys, and last on the list this month is my Pallidiflorum. She did just give me a leaf, which is this one right here. That's how big she is. And yeah, I just cannot believe, you guys, I cannot believe how big she is. I truly can't. I can't even get it all in the frame, but her leaves are, I would say, we'll measure them, but I'm pretty sure they're probably almost 3 feet long. And this is such an easygoing anthurium. I feel like everybody deserves a Pallidiflorum. It's truly a magical plant. It looks absolutely incredible on a shelf. Like, we're gonna put her back up on her shelf. We just showed her off in the houseplant tour, so you guys just saw her. But like, everyone deserves one of these. And I promise you, if you've ever been afraid of them, they are so easy to care for. They really and truly just want to be watered and loved on from time to time. But these leaves are magical, and it adds such an amazing jungle vibe to your space. I promise you, you will love Pallidiflorum. I would say of all the Strappy Anthuriums, it's above the Wendy for me. It's above Wendy for me, and right up there with Vitarifolium. Vitarifolium's another one that just brings me so much joy. She's back here. We just showed her again in the houseplant tour, but this new leaf, whenever this girl gives me a leaf, whenever I see a leaf coming from that sheath, I am just like, oh my goodness, because I know it's going to be a show. It's just going to be so exciting. So yeah, this unfurled over the course of this last month, and I thought I would share her with you. One thing I'll add about Wendy and Pally, I do love how dark the Wendy's leaves get in comparison to Pally and even Vitarifolium. I would say Wendy's leaves get to be the darkest. So when you have the three of them in a like general vicinity of one another, and you can kind of see that comparison, it really is truly such a beautiful thing. And I just highly recommend all three of those Strappy Anthuriums. And if you have the space, if you have a shelf in your house that you can dedicate, tell me it's gonna have to be up high. Like, you're gonna have to find a space that's high, because the leaves get absolutely crazy long. Yeah, it's truly a moment, and I recommend it so much, because it will bring you so much joy. They're whimsical, they're beautiful, and I could go on and on and on about it all day long. So I'll stop now. All right, guys, that is all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed this video so much. I know I did. It's been a while since we've done a favorites, and they're just truly some of my favorite videos to do. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed seeing some of my most treasured plants this month. Stay tuned, like I said, for the remainder of the houseplant tour. We have a lot to cover still, some really amazing plants outside. In fact, my biggest, most, I would say, amazing plants are outside because they're just growing in their most natural environment. So they're really something special out there. So I hope you guys will stick around for that. Anyways, I will see you all soon. Thank you so much for being here. Bye, guys.